Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of ABA with Vic. Now before we begin with this week's topic, go ahead and click the subscribe button so that every week you can get weekly updates of ABA with Vic. Now for this week, we're going to be answering one question that a subscriber has submitted to me at abawithvic@gmail.com. Before I begin with this week's question, I just want to say thank you so much for sending me your questions. So the question is, hello Vic, I really enjoy watching your videos each week. I hope you can answer this question for me and help me with my son. My son, who's 12, has a difficult time doing math problems. He is able to solve them, but when I tell him to do his homework, he runs to his room and begins playing video games. How can I have him do his homework without him running to his room? First of all, that's an ABAzing question. Now, as I'm reading this question, it makes me think that the function of the behavior is escape, because the individual is running away when it's giving a demand, and the demand being that the mom is telling the child to do his homework. So by the child running away to his room, that's a form of escape. In my previous videos, we have also talked about environmental arrangements. So if you know that your child is going to run away when you present him the demand to do his homework, you want to place yourself in a position or a location where you are able to block him so that he can do his homework. And now, a very important piece is reinforcement. And we have talked about reinforcement a few weeks ago. So let's say, for example, this is the math sheet that we're talking about. If your child is able to solve these problems, you want to reinforce that behavior so that we could see that pattern of behavior in the future. If the child continues to try to escape, you might want to place yourself close to him and redirect him or tell him to do the work. You could take the sheet of paper and also use it as a token board. You could draw out squares after each row, and after when the child completes the first row of problems, you could give them either a happy face or a sticker. And remember to use positive reinforcement. We want to continuously reinforce appropriate behaviors. So if your child is actually solving the problems, reinforce them for that. And then after the first row, you can continue to the second one. When the student completes the second row, you can give them another happy face or a sticker. And then you can continue on and on and on. But before we establish this math sheet as a token system, we have to find out what is reinforcing for the student. For this question, it seems that the child likes to play video games. So if you know that this is a reinforcement, you want to withhold or take away the reinforcement before the child has access to it. By doing so, the student is deprivated or wants the item, and so this video game becomes reinforcement or becomes a motivation for the student to comply and complete the math sheet. So one pro tip that you could do as a parent, before the student comes home, you can limit the access of the video game. You can prompt them or redirect the student to first complete their homework, and then they can have access to the video game. By doing so, the student does not have access to his reinforcement. Thus, it will motivate the student to complete the work and then have access to his reinforcement, which in this case is the video games. If you don't know what your child's reinforcement is, that's okay. You can ask your child questions like, what would you like to have after you finish completing your homework? The child may respond, going for a break, going outside, watching a movie, whatever they may want. But also keep in mind that the reinforcement has to match the level of work that they're doing. Keep in mind that just because the student is able to complete one math sheet problem, you're not going to take them out to Disneyland or a theme park. You have to reward them based on what they do. And that will be up to you to decide. The child could get a snack, a break, watch a movie, or even play video games for a certain amount of time. Maybe 10 minutes, 20 minutes. Now if the student is able to complete, let's say, 5 sheets of math problems, then you give them a greater reinforcement. Maybe now the student can play for an hour or even half an hour, and that depends on you as well. One thing that you want to remember with reinforcements is that you don't want to give them, the child, too much access to it, because after that they will be satiated or they will have enough of the reinforcement that the reinforcement itself no longer becomes or is a reinforcement. Limiting the access of these reinforcements can continue to make these reinforcements reinforcements. Now that will be all for this week. This week we answered a question from you, the viewers. I want to thank you so much for submitting your questions for me to answer. If you as a parent or educator have similar difficulties, use these proactive strategies so you can help your child be successful. Reinforce appropriate behaviors. Establish a reinforcement and also establish a strong reinforcement that the child wants. Another thing that we tend to forget is that reinforcement don't last forever. So even though the child likes to play video games, the child may complete the video game and may no longer be reinforced by that video game. So find out other things that they like. Maybe they like to play outside with different toys, or they want to play with a different video game. If so, once again, limit the access of that video game so that we can ensure that that reinforcement continues to be a reinforcement. Find out what the child likes or dislikes so that you can continue to appropriately reinforce. And also, if you know that your child tends to run away, make environmental arrangements so that the child does not escape. Now that will be all for this week. If you have any questions or comments, please leave me a comment down below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you have any other questions, please email me at ABAwithVic@gmail.com or tweet me at ABAwithVic. And now we're on Facebook at ABAwithVic. Now that will be all for this week, and remember to make this week amazing. And as always, thank you for watching.